You guys, anyone from Toronto by a round of applause? I don't even actually have a story, that was the joke. No, I was in Toronto for comedy this summer and it was a lot of fun. Toronto's an interesting city, right? It's so much different than Alberta, Toronto. Right, I was in the middle of downtown Toronto and I felt like I got a bit of home because I saw a Ford F-150 drive by. Just not a thing you see in downtown Toronto very often, right? But Ontario came back in, right? Toronto came back in because as that truck passed, I saw on the back tailgate, it had a rainbow pride flag sticker. And I nearly broke my little Albertan brain. I'm not saying we don't have progressive people or bumper stickers in Alberta, right? But if you're gonna see a pro-gay bumper sticker on the back of a Ford F-150, it is not gonna be a rainbow flag. It's gonna say, if you're gonna ride my ass, at least pull my hair. You guys know those gay ones? Meanwhile, like the bisexual fairy I am, I'm like, well, Rapunzel, Rapunzel. But I like a lady truck driver. I like a lady truck driver a lot because you can always tell a lady truck driver from a guy truck driver, right? Because first of all, right away, it's always a blacked out Dodge 1500, except for the little back emblem that's pink, right? And I love the way they express themselves on the backs of their vehicles because guys, it's always their opinion. It tells you their political beliefs, it's something like that. It's usually Calvin peeing on something. My neighbor has Trudeau, but upside down. I'm like, whoa, this guy's a poet. But women, it's never their opinions. It's always just something about them, right? You're driving behind a lady truck driver, you're like, whoa, 3 kids, good job, Deb. Driving behind a lady truck driver, you're like, I love my Rottweiler. I like the women that drive trucks that work in the trades because they gotta be a little tough, right, with the boys, so they do something kitschy. It's like, I might be a lady, but I play dirty too. But then, like, the more rural you go, the more aggressive the sayings get, right? I was in Grand Prairie the other weekend, it was a couple months ago, and I was driving into town, this blacked out little pink Dodge 1500 drove right by me. I was reading it. It looked like Tinkerbell like spray painted a bunch of shit all over it. And then in Barbie font, it said, I might be a lady, but I'ma fuck you like a man. And boy, did she. Whew. Whoa! Did any of you guys have to get like a different job during the pandemic or anything by round of applause? Yeah, you did? Your job was illegal? Yeah. This was too. I couldn't do stand-up during the pandemic. And I know that seems like a long time ago. Don't worry, it's not another pandemic joke. This is just what I was doing during the pandemic, right? So I had to be an indoor plant technician, which is a very fancy way of saying plant janitor. I would go into malls and businesses and things like that, and I would make sure their plants look good, right? I was just a bad plant stepdad, really. I would just show up, make sure they had enough water, put money on the table for pizza, and I'd just dip, you know? It was like, as soon as your mom's disability runs out, so will I. I said bad stepdad. So I was an indoor plant technician. There was this one place that I had to go to. It was an old folks home in Didsbury, Alberta. This is another small town in between Edmonton and Calgary. I had to go there every 2 weeks. It was a good job. There was like an atrium in the middle, an indoor atrium that was like pretty big, but then there were windows all around it so that the old people could see it. It was like the weirdest geriatric zoo I've ever been a part of. Hopefully the only geriatric zoo I've been a part of, but I don't know, even, maybe it was a millennial zoo. They were looking at me, there was more of them. So maybe I wasn't in the enclosure. But they would watch me, because this is during the pandemic, right? They don't get to see anybody, not even their closest relatives. So I'm just like this stranger that walks in, I can't interact with them, I'm just in like doing the plants, and then I leave. So this is like a fun TV show for them. And And so one day I'm working there. It had been a few weeks since I got the job. One day I was working, and I was just like in the corner working away. And I look up, and there's this woman there, and she's sitting in her walker. So I guess at that point it was called a sitter. It's a very versatile tool. So she's in her walker, and she tries to say something to me, right? But I don't know how old you have to be to forget what glass does. But she was older than that. Because she just tried to talk to me normal. She just looked like a fish out of water. She was just like, she was saying something. I didn't know what it was. So I was like, and I'm a whiz at charades, right? So I'm like, I can't hear you. Do all the signs. And she goes, come closer. And I go, I can't fathom why not. So I got a little closer, right? And so we're just kind of like, it felt like Jane Goodall and the apes in there. Like, we're just a glass pane away. Just had our hands up against it. No, I got closer. And then she didn't even try and say anything to me after that. She just took a quick look to the left, quick look to the right, just to make sure there's no witnesses. She gave me a quick one of these. You can look, don't worry. You're making eye contact, but you want to look? She gave me a quick flash of the tit. One tit. One single tit. Why? Why one tit, right? Like, it was crazy to me. So much I felt like That's So Raven when she saw the future. I just got like sucked into I was like, what? Right? Felt like I saw my own death, because like two tits. Two tits is amazing, right? Two tits is like geriatrics gone wild, spring break, grandma's off her meds, let's party. But one tit? One single tit? That is an omen. You know, it's like, you will die in a tragic pepperoni accident. I didn't know what to do, man. She just put her shirt down and she left. It was just her life, right? And now I'm racked with like so many feelings. Because I'm driving back and I'm like, do I even go back there? Do I have to call in? Like, should I call, who arrested Harvey Weinstein? Should I call that guy? Right? And obviously the funniest sexual harassment that's ever happened. I get that. The only person I could actually talk to about it seriously was another comic. Do you understand how fucked up your situation is? That another clown is the only one that takes you seriously? There's so many questions in my head, right? The first one was like, why did it happen? I was like, maybe she does it to everybody, right? And then immediately some weird part of my brain was like, am I not special? Which is something I gotta deal with. But then I was like, but why one? You know, why one tit? One single titty? I know that one is usually better than the other, but like still, you know? Why one? It was crazy to me. I was trying to think about it, and I was like racking my brain. I was like, okay, well maybe she's not all there, right? She's an old person. Maybe she's not all there. Maybe I reminded her of her husband back in the day. Maybe I reminded her of her husband Henry, you know? And Henry, he was a fair-haired, no-eyebrow gentleman. He just gets back from World War II in the spring of 1945. And we're all so excited to see Henry. And so he's working, you know what Henry loves to do? He loves the garden. So he's working on that corner lot. He's working on all the flowers. But you know what Henry likes more than gardening? A quick tit between the petunias. So what if I was Henry? I can't get mad at her for that, right? You can't get mad at a dog for being a dirty dog. But I don't think that's what it was. I think she just flashed me her tit with no reason, which makes it worse. And I feel like a lot of you haven't been in this situation. Am I correct? So I'll tell you a bit about what it was like in an analogy. Like, you know those boxes of raisins? Those red boxes that you get probably from your grandma? So you know what raisins are. They're dry, dehydrated grapes. So you get this box of raisins, you open this box of raisins, you expect to enjoy some delicious, mediocre raisins. You pour them into your hand, and instead of raisins, you get a fully plump grape. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, for pushing 90, it was a good tit. Pretty good tit. I was like, damn, is this chick a stewardess in the 70s? What's going on? And then it all made sense because I walked out into the parking lot. I saw her drive away in a blacked out Dodge 1500. So I might be a lady, but I'ma flash you like a man.